And the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference with us now on a very busy day for him, I would assume. He is Greg Sankey on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I could assume that wrong, Greg. This may have just been a normal day for you. It was an exciting one for us, though, and I've got to think an exciting one for you to finally be able to have that date in hand and make that announcement.
Well, we had a date, and then we have a new date. So we've always had a date. It's just the helpful pieces. I commented once about following the bouncing ball of transition timing. So having that settled, that ball put on the rack, and the definitive plan forward is enormously helpful. But I will say today's been busy.
So you're like Dunaway in high school. You had a date, then you didn't have a date, then you had another date. So, okay, I got it. I was just
Hey, and I won the bet, Commissioner. You actually have a bigger office than Nick Saban.
Well, back in the days of Zoom, I guess I kept it hidden. It just looks spacious.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've done a very good job decorating and making it look spacious. Yeah. So, everybody's trying to figure out this pod system and who's going to play who. And, we had Greg Byrne on earlier in the show, and we kind of asked him, where he thinks that is at this particular moment. And he's like, I really don't have any idea. We've seen some different models. Do you have a date in place where we will know who drafting partners are for each of these programs?
We learned fall of 2020 that we could put a game in place on a Monday and play it on a Saturday. So perhaps the Monday before Labor Day weekend of 2024. We have done a great deal of work. So I would put pods in your Tide box in your laundry room and leave them there. We've gone through 40 plus different kind of format examinations. I have any number of our fans who've written me with their ideas, which I appreciate. I can assure you we've looked at all of those independently and before the letters arrived. We have probably 90 days. So I would say by or before Destin would be my objective now. And we actually went into Destin last year thinking that we were prepared to make a decision. We've done a great deal of groundwork and then said as a group, let's stop and wait because there's a lot that could happen. CFP format, Big Ten media deal, some discussion about our own tiebreaker analysis if we were in a single division. And lo and behold, we're here, 8-9 months after that with a lot more information than we would have envisioned being available back in late May of 2022.
Can you tell me if ESPN ABC gave up any SEC inventory to make this happen a year earlier, or is that something that it cannot be discussed?
We don't give up inventory. That's not a phrase we use, give up inventory.
No, I like that answer.
That's a hard no.
That would be not only a no, but a hard no. Yes. Is there a schedule model?
Yeah, so maybe, Jim, let me back up. Understand that the early departure, the early transition, and I said this probably way back when we talked in 21, was about the relationship of the Big 12 and its members. And it had a clear date when its grant of rights concluded. That was June 30, 2025. And that's why the entry date was clearly established as July 1st, 2025. We didn't control anything before that. And their ability to work through any exit issues and any decisions or agreements is solely theirs and their member universities. And I want to be respectful and clear about that. This wasn't about, if you will, SEC inventory.
Does athletic directors and other administrators, presidents and such, get at least a voice to be heard when it comes to permanent opponents on the football schedule? And I know there's 20 other sports that you'll have to deal with scheduling, but obviously football and the permanent opponent becomes a very big story. Do you have everybody coming to you with a wish list saying, Greg, I'd like it to be these three right here. We'd love these three. And you're probably surprised at how many times Texas and Oklahoma is on somebody's list, because obviously that's a big ticket.
We started August of 21. So remember, this announcement of expansion was late July 21. We had a previously scheduled athletics directors meeting where we zoomed in, Joe Castiglione from Oklahoma, their athletics director, Chris Del Conte from Texas, their athletics director, and talked about what do we want. I started from two things: blue sky thinking, let's look at every option, and how do we rotate our teams through campus more frequently? So this 12-year gap between visits across divisions, we need to bring these great teams, great coaches, great players, great brands through our campuses more frequently. And then we talked about other priorities with athletics directors. We gave, I think we conducted 2 or 3 separate kind of one-on-one interviews with an outside firm, some of our staff, and each athletics director. We've probably met in person 4 or 5 times. We brought Texas and Oklahoma's athletics directors into those meetings since last January. So everybody's had a full opportunity to voice perspectives and opinions. That's helped inform how we've developed models. What we have to do now is make decisions, and we've made decisions. I think we have to finalize some things in volleyball, some baseball postseason format recommendations, and then our football decision. Just by quick memory, I think every other format's been established already.
Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, with us for a few more moments on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline on the reasons to get this thing done as quickly as possible. How high was the fact that the expanded playoff starts on the football side in 2024? Was that any driving focus at all for you?
None at all. None at all. And there was one report I read at some point that I demanded Oklahoma and Texas enter for there to be expansion. That is a complete fiction. The date was set as July 1st, 2025, based on Big 12 media rights agreements, period. That's it. And the ability to expand the playoff, in fact, plenty of finger pointing about the expansion proposal back in that summer of 21. That was an independent conversation about how do we bring all regions into the college football playoff. So they were very much independent. Now, it's nice that things sync up. So the Big Ten is going to expand in 24. We expand in 24. We move from CBS to ABC in 24. The CFP expands in 24. Those were all independent decisions, which they do synchronize quite nicely.
I know you guys are trying to enjoy today with the new members coming over in that announcement, but I'm a guy that speaks in absolutes. And I said earlier in the show, Commissioner, that 16 is going to be the cap. We will all die with there not being more than 16 members in the SEC. Do you foresee a day where the SEC could grow more than 16?
I'm a guy who deals in absolutes.
I like hypotheticals and absolutes. That's how I live.
Hypotheticals and absolutes are Lance's body fuel. Yes.
At some point, I have to know what Ghost is, by the way, since it keeps showing up.
Energy drink.
We will bring you a case. If you like energy drinks, it's low calorie, great flavors, and a great sponsor.
0 sugar.
I want to affirm your sponsors. I don't do energy drinks. I drink coffee. That's my energy drink. I thought it was a movie with Demi Moore and was like Patrick Swayze.
It was. Did you cry in that movie?
No, I don't think so.
Last movie made you cry?
Last movie that made me cry. Let me come back to that because I know we're doing rapid fire.
So no answer on the hypothetical.
No, I'm trying to think of what movie last got me choked up.
Okay, as you think about that, is there
action? So let me be clear. I've always tried to be as responsible as possible on this expansion issue. You know what? We had news break during the summer of 21. How can I not tell people this and that? And I've certainly owned the approach to our current expansion. But at the same time, I said, we're not looking at some magic number. I'm not a recruiter. Oklahoma and Texas came to us with a clear set of reasons why they wanted to explore movement. We ultimately decided to issue the invitation. I have had colleagues speak about growing to a number or speaking to a region. That's not the Southeastern Conference approach. So we're focused, Lance, on 16. I am also keenly aware, although you're checking your email, so the answer.
No, I got a situation.
He's dealing with it too.
Yeah, I got a situation. I'd love to talk about it on the air, but I'm not going to. As Dunaway rubs his head.
We all have situations. I've lost my train of thought again. I'm back on the movie that made me cry.
Yeah.
We're focused on 16, but I'm keenly aware that you've seen this week stories about other commissioners and other campus venues, and that doesn't predict any expansion. So we're going to focus on 16, and we're going to be keenly aware and ready to adjust if the environment creates certain circumstances that make me continue on in this answer.
Listen, I know you get compensated very well to occasionally make hard decisions and to sometimes be portrayed as the guy in the black hat, to be the villain of it all, whether it's in Big Ten country, Pac-12 country, Big 12 country, or even in our conference. Give me the rules. Whether it's a urban legend or not, do SEC member schools have to approve hires through your office? Is that something that has to happen? Because there's a lot of people that you hear all the time. Greg Sankey said this school can't hire that guy. Greg Sankey said this guy can't do this at this school. What is fact and what is fiction when it comes to that?
So you asked me specifically about hiring decisions. I don't make campus hiring decisions, period, end of story. I've been clear about that. And I'll be happy to grab my conference manual with our bylaw on hiring expectations. So we as a league, our membership unanimously, by the way, said, here's the process, particularly if somebody's had a history of involvement or accusations of major violations, unethical conduct. That athletics director, that athletics department, before a hire is made, has to engage with us to check the record. If the record shows that there are issues, so level 1, level 2 major violations, unethical conduct violations under the NCAA's definition in individuals past, that's going to put me and the president in conversation, looking at the record, setting compliance expectations, and facilitating an in-person meeting if a hire is made. And there are any number of people in this league who have background issues, if you will, who have bumped up against those rules, who've been hired. We also have institutions that look and you say, you know what, we're not going to go near that individual. They've made decisions in the past that predict future behavior, and we're not interested in that hire. But that's not me making that decision. All we do is provide clear, available, incredible information to our campuses.
So I did my absolute. I'll do my hypothetical now. Hypothetically, if Alabama called you and said, kind of interested in hiring a guy named Jeremy Pruitt, would you just immediately say, hey, look, you need to check the bylaws?
I actually don't talk, Lance, about people other than radio hosts on shows. And they have to follow our bylaw very clearly. They know what the expectation is, and whether it's that university, a lot of speculation about Auburn and its hire of Hugh Freeze and how that works. Ole Miss hiring Kermit Davis. We've got a baseball director of operations named in NCAA infractions case. I mean, those are just realities their schools are obligated to work through, and they have to apply their judgment and their wisdom to the information in making decisions.
Would it surprise you to know I was involved in a very small NCAA infraction back with Kentucky basketball back in my day when I worked in Lexington? It was a small violation, but I interviewed a recruit who was on a visit at Rupp Arena, and I was not supposed to do that. And so I was in a report. If you ever come across that file at the old SEC offices from 1990, I'd love to see that. I would love to see that.
I'm surprised you're only involved in a small violation.
Hey,
much more.
Let Dunaway throw you his question of the day from earlier today.
Now, you understand nuance of our show and just being nice to guests. Jay Billis is on our show. He's at Auburn tomorrow for game day, and Jay was an accomplished college basketball player. I've seen the 30 for 30. He was on a national championship team. I said in your prime, in a game of 101, Jay Billis or Charles Barkley, who would win that matchup of 101? And Lance and Ryan, 1,000 people in our chat room, and Jay himself thinks that's a ridiculous question. But I didn't think it was that bad of a question.
That's just a question. I think the spirit of the show is you're asking me like movies in which I cried, and you want me to air that publicly.
Oh,
So
that's a legitimate question, though. You seem like such a hard guy that people want to know that sensitive side of Greg Sankey.
Did you cry during Miracle?
Oh,
No, that's awesome. That's like
you're the only one that cried during that.
that's an awesome movie.
Yeah.
I was like shouting for joy and remembering the moment. I lived, we didn't go to the Olympics, but I grew up about an hour and a half drive from Lake Placid. So no.
What about Old Yeller or Brian's Song?
Yeah, Brian's Song, I have not seen that in years. I think when I did see that would be on the list of at least a very sore throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rockstar is not here today. He is singing Fleetwood Mac tonight next door to you at the concert hall.
Is
So
it really?
yeah. Black Jacket Symphony.
Black Jacket Symphony?
Yeah.
That's something new.
Rockstar's doing he does the Lindsey Buckingham part. It's a good show.
Wow.
Well, I was just saying that because he would normally have one of these type questions, so we're having to fill the bill for Greg.
I thought there's going to be an offer of free admission there coming. But
I can check with Rockstar. Are you free tonight? Yeah, I mean, you've got all the job done today. You already got Texas and Oklahoma.
Bering Sea Gold's on live tonight on Discovery, and that's a must-see. So
Bering Sea Gold.
What is your go-to show right now? Do you stream shows?
Apparently Bering Sea Gold.
Deadliest Catch, but that's like, April to September, so Deadliest Catch is a must-have. Gold Rush Alaska, I've kind of lost a little bit of the flavor. The whole Bering Sea Gold, the notion, particularly in the winter, of cutting a hole in the ice off of Nome, Alaska, and diving in scuba gear with a vacuum cleaner to suck dirt off the floor of the ocean to then see gold in it. I mean, that I just can't look away. And then the summertime, it's like 34-degree water or something like that. It's fascinating to me.
All right, he is SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. All the hard-hitting questions from us to the commissioner. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Always fun talking with you.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity.
See you in Nashville.
Take care. Yes, we will see him in Nashville in a couple weeks.
150 days.
Yes, the commissioner with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.